Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and as we look ahead to the third MCU Spider-Man film, its predecessor, Spider-Man Far From Home, left that door wide open to the question of Peter Parker's suits and gear. As an apparent criminal, or at least a kid accused of being one, we're probably gonna see Peter Parker lose his suits, confiscated. Because as we explored not long ago in Big Question, even if Peter Parker is somehow exonerated of murder and of war crimes, he still has a pesky little law called the Sokovia Accord that are still in effect and he remains in violation of. And if the government is willing to confiscate Captain America's shield from Sam Wilson and give it to one of their guys, I doubt they're gonna let little Peter Parker keep his, iron spider armor capable of instant kill, or for that matter, his Far From Home suit, his Homecoming suit, his Night Monkey suit, or even his Underoos. They're gonna make the poor guy go commando. But while rewatching Far From Home and seeing more and more clues coming out of the next film, I noticed some interesting new details that might give us a clearer picture of what kinds of threats Peter Parker could face in his upcoming battles. Let's break down the 10 spider suits and designs that currently exist in the MCU, at least 10. Because if Tony Stark made 85 Iron Man suits, he probably had at least a few dozen Spider-Man ones. By my count, actually as many as 40 Spider-Man suits, but I'll explain how I got to that number. But before we continue, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and to run your business. Okay, first, Peter's original Underoos suit, the Ben Reilly-esque hoodie getup that Peter was seen wearing in Tony's video clips in Civil War, and the suit Peter reverted to in Homecoming after Tony confiscated the suit he gave Peter. Second, the Stark suit, worn by Peter in Civil War and in Homecoming, in the beginning of Infinity War, and briefly in Venice and Far From Home. Third, the Iron Spider armor from Infinity War and Endgame, a truly Iron Man nanotech pressurized armored suit that's got extendable arms. It's all based somewhat on the red and gold Iron Spider suit in the Civil War comics. That suit was last seen recharging in Queen's most radioactive utility bill nightmare. Fourth, the stealth Night Monkey suit, worn by Peter in Austria, Prague, and Berlin in Far From Home, an alternate disguise given to Peter by Team Fury / Team Mysterio / Team Skrull. To be honest, it's kind of hard to know exactly what that team was. Anyway, this suit was compromised by Mysterio so that it was putting deceptive illusions in Peter's mind, so Peter had to ditch it in Holland and build a new suit, bringing us to fifth, the upgraded Far From Home suit, the suit Peter designed in the Stark jet on his way to London with the darker features and webbing, and he also increased the electric charge, which came in handy later. This is the suit he is currently wearing post-Endgame, so that's 5. But when Peter built that suit, the tech in Stark's lab displayed several alternate designs. Going from left to right, there is a 6th armor-looking design that some have described as the classic 90s spider armor, Mark 1, the silver one that has shown up in a bunch of comics and games, but I have actually finally confirmed that this is a different design altogether. I will come back to this. But the 7th suit design, just to the right on that display, is the superior Spider-Man suit, and you can tell from the chest emblem, this is from a run in the comics in which Doc Ock possesses the body of Peter Parker. In the middle, of course, is the Stark Homecoming era suit, and then to the right of that is the Iron Spider, but not the one from the MCU. Notice that emblem, this is a separate 8th design, the Iron Spider from the comics. That tells us that before the Iron Spider suit Tony offered Peter at the end of Homecoming, there was an alternate previous Iron Spider design that he decided not to go with. And then on the far right, there is a 9th design that looks very much like the Secret War suit, known from the comics and the PS4 game for its sleek black design with light blue lines and a thin red web pattern on the mask, arms, and boots. This is a suit given to Peter by Nick Fury in the comics, similar to the way Fury gives Peter the stealth Night Monkey suit in Far From Home. But again, thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Are you looking for a website to sell your wares? Maybe you're a talented artist, but nobody is seeing your work because you're just carrying it around an old Steve Rogers portfolio satchel. You gotta present your work to the world using Squarespace's professional portfolio designs, display projects and customizable galleries, and add password-protected pages to share private work with clients. You can auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr. You can also easily import from Instagram, Twitter, and other platforms to give your site the personal visual flair you want. Squarespace will even sell you a URL. Somebody go check to see if oldsteviesatchel.com is available, or maybe don't. That could be something weird. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to our custom URL in the description to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Now, there are more designs a few seconds later. On the left in the front is a 10th design, the Spider Armor Mark II from the comics, comics, also in the PS4 game. Thinner armor with a black and yellow palette, notice the triangular segments in the emblem. But then behind it is a heavier armor, which would be an 11th design, but compare it to the first design we saw in this holo display, design number 6. I just realized this is the same one. And based on those heavy shoulders, it is the Spider Armor Mark III from the To the Ends of the Earth comic event, in which Peter built this suit with Horizon Labs to be able to neutralize the attacks of each of the Sinister Six. Doc Ock actually ends up hacking it. So there you go. That is 10 different spider suits we have seen visually on screen. So even if Peter gets his current suits taken, there are always more backups that he could suit up with. Now, yes, the suit lab on Stark's jet was blown up in the final battle, and Avengers HQ was wrecked in Endgame, but Tony also had his own lab in his separate lakeside farmhouse. The guy probably had gear and weapons rigged up, ready to deploy from remote locations all over the world, maybe even in a satellite orbiting over the world. And bringing up that Infinity War Iron Spider suit earlier, remember how Tony summoned it?
Unlock 17A.
17A? Looking closely at Avengers HQ there appear to be about 20 deployment silos, and presumably A and B sides to both. So as many as 40 options. Now maybe some of those are armor for people other than Peter, like Tony himself, for Rhodey, for Pepper, but still it tells us that these suit design options are endless. And including designs specifically linked to certain comics might tell us how Peter will need this kind of tech in the next film. The Iron Spider Mark III interests me because it shows up twice on Peter's display in Far From Home, suggesting it definitely influenced Peter's custom design as he was heading into London. And using the Mark III as a reference point tells me that the filmmaking team at Marvel and Sony intend to confront Peter with the threat this armor was designed to protect against, the Sinister Six. I have explored the ways this is gonna play out. Sony has already established 6 or so of the Spider-Man villains: Adrian Toomes Vulture, Michael Morbius the Living Vampire, Jamie Foxx Electro, Venom and or Carnage, potentially Scorpion and Shocker, they're still out there. Maybe new figures like Doc Ock and Norman Osborn. We know Kraven the Hunter is going to be his own spin-off movie, but with Doctor Strange joining Peter in the third film, we could see these villains crossing over from a multiversal web of life and destiny. Think about it, endless Spidey villains fought with endless Spidey suit upgrades. Now, do we need a replay of that house party protocol scene in Iron Man 3? Maybe not. But dozens of suits deploying to attach onto dozens of alternate Peter Parkers from other thwips in the Spider-Verse? That theory is my kind of house party. Oh, by the way, if you want to support this channel, get some amazing apparel and accessories for yourself or as a gift, check out our new merch store at newrockstarsmerch.com. You can join this conversation with us on Discord and get a special patron discount on merch by becoming a patron of New Rockstars at patreon.com/newrockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars, hit that notification bell, follow me at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars. Thank you for watching.
Boom.